Welcome to my video. I'm gonna make a reaction video about Thomas and Noah. Noah is a South African and Thomas is American. So we're gonna dig into this and listen to both sides, and then I'm gonna give my story, my reaction, the truth that I know, and so we can try to explain this narrative which has been pulled all over the globe. So let's start watching. Okay, before we start watching, let me guys give you a background. I'm a San person. We are still enslaved by black people. It's an invisible slavery, and then blacks have actually invaded South Africa. And so, actually, we are the oldest inhabitants of entire Africa. But that's why, through divine intervention, I could bring this picture together, and I have studied and put everything together because our people have painted, and their paints are, and our languages is still it been speaking, been talking, been speak in Tanzania, and I met a person from Kenya, and she was telling me that they are actually part of us, and they were even speaking the clicks, but the clicks was because we have type of flicks, and the blacks were saying it's disrespectful, and that's how the clicks were taken out. She is young, so she said they were still using it at school, but it was taken out later. So this our people was genocide and exterminated by black. It's one of those history and facts which are not being taught by either by blacks, because whites, if was it not for the whites coming to the southern tip of Africa, we could have been exterminated by blacks. So Zulus are not the natives of South Africa. The natives of South Africa. So when the whites came in, the whites are the ones who rescue us. But the whites also are now natives because they are children. The whites have raped, just like the blacks have raped and get the children. So the whites have also raped and their children. So they are also having native bloods. Not all the South Africans are really white people. Some of us have native blood. That is the truth about South Africa. Even him, Noah, is also having the native blood. I can see through him. Even he's saying he's a white man and a closest child, but I can see through him that he has the trait. So we're gonna go into that. Yeah, so the history of Africa, like the Arabs came and took over, okay, let's Africa, let's kind of listen to the video, and then I'm gonna, as I said, go with that.
So to your question, you have to understand what the word reparations means first. So reparations, you are repairing something that you have broken. You are paying for something that you were supposed to pay for. I'm not saying that there aren't people living in America today who are suffering and are going through pain and strife because of what's happening when it comes to machines taking jobs, factories becoming industrialized, etc. But reparations is a specific conversation about a specific time in America, and that is black people were slaves.
So the reparation that he's talking about, what about the reparation that the blacks have to give, the compensation? So it's everybody. It's not just the Jews that needs, but they were paid actually by the Germans. But it's he's talking. That's the thing. He's talking about America and the blacks, how the blacks. So I'm asking, are the Africans also going to pay the reparation for the blacks, because they are the ones who tied them up in the jungles, and the Arabs are the ones who sold them to the white men. So it's just to say that white people have, because the whites were the customers.
When Adam Smith wrote in 1776 that the only place in the world where slavery had been abolished completely was Western Europe, and so this was
as late as the year this country was founded.
Yes. And so the idea that this is something that the United States had that nobody else had, or other countries that didn't have, it's been estimated that there are more slaves in India than in the entire Western Hemisphere. That's that's before and after Columbus got here.
Right. And so I hear what you're saying, but I think that's a completely separate conversation that needs to be had about the now.
But how can it be a separate conversation if you also are still sitting and enslave people in their ancestral land in South Africa? How is it a different conversation that needs to be held only when the lights are being light or to you? You also have contributed. Your forefathers also invaded. Your forefathers also slave, and your forefathers also stole other people's land. So how is it a different conversation? You are talking about the same thing, that is the same subject that needs to be, it's a related subject that needs to be co-signed with the other subjects, which is the same.
What you then do is you combine everybody's suffering into the same bowl, and you make it seem like all injustices have the same weighting, and they don't. Just like crimes, theft isn't the same as murder. We don't try them the same way. And as much as
you are talking about slavery, Trevor, you are talking about slavery. So that slavery have happened all over. Even those whites were slaves. Whites were also slaves. They were also running away from their enslavement. So to come and say that only these groups were slaves, and even make a narrative like whites are the ones who went in Africa in the jungles and tie them up and bring them. No, it was a trade going on, Arab trade. That it was Arabs were enslaving this black people. Black people enslaved themselves also, but then there was these blacks which was working with the Arabs, because Arabs were kind of controlling the black people. That's why you see that they own land in Africa, because they were having the weapons, and they make sure they exterminate them and capture them, and make them their slave and kill them out and decide to take their land. So nobody is even talk about that, and so it's one thing that we need to be talk about.
there is a white person who's suffering today, I feel for anybody who's suffering, because I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to suffer. I didn't come from a wealthy family. We struggled when I was growing up. But I also understand that there are levels of that suffering, And so sometimes...
So you are saying when you grown up, but do you understand that your people have also invaded South Africa? Do you understand, and are you aware, or did you just started to read about the American history and learn about America, but your own backyards? You did not make your own research there.
It does block a white person, because you go, white privilege, and the person goes, I'm poor and I'm white. Where's the privilege? White people are like, I wish I could activate my white privilege. I wish I could do it right now. White privilege! Give me something. I get that. I get that. Trust me, I get it. It is hard to accept that you have benefits because of the color of your skin.
No, but the blacks have benefits too. The blacks have benefits. There is black supremacy too. Why should you just say it's white people who have those benefits? Blacks have benefits too. In South Africa, very good example where you are coming from, that the blacks are invaded, killed, and genocide, and even now in South Africa, the natives of South Africa is at the Union Building, but you guys are refusing them to give them the first indigenous right, and saying, oh, those are the children of the black people, of the white people. No, both blacks and white have invaded, and the natives was changed by them invasion. So even the Ethiopians, the Tanzanians, they are still natives. The San people, they have been called in Southern Africa San people, actually Southern Africa native people, and they are Kru people. They are Hingwases. They are being known as the Bushman people. So black people are also having supremacy.
See the benefits that you have.
The book that I'm writing now, I discovered this is true not only in the United States. It's true in England, and the situation is wholly different. And yet, if you read the data, for example, from London, the educational tests and so forth, you see that there, immigrants from Africa pass this test they have. I'm talking about low-income people now. Nearly 60% of the time. Blacks from the Caribbean, like 50%, so on. Native-born whites in the same low-income bracket pass this test 30% of the time. And it's the same thing. The foreign people come in, they haven't had generations of being steeped in the welfare state vision
Yeah,
Thank you
the
for correct.
victim, being a victim in this whole thing that this is, yeah, about the victim thing. I read and I have studied about the Amish people in America. The Amish children, they are Dutch people who have moved to South America, and they are Amish people. Those children stand up like 4 o'clock, 11, 10 years old children. They have to go and look after the kettles now. We are talking about 2022. They do that. Why is the liberals, the Democrats in America telling the black people they are being so much oppressed, and it's because of oppression they can't succeed? That is the narrative. It's a political narrative.
Is black people were slaves.
Article that got a lot of attention in The Atlantic a couple of years ago called The Case for Reparations by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Quote, white supremacy is a force so fundamental to America that it is difficult to imagine the country without it. Reparations is the price we must pay to see ourselves squarely. Close quote. And Tom Sowell, who actually saw Jim Crow with his own eyes and experienced it, responds how?
It would be nice to know his evidence for what he said, just to be old-fashioned about it. No, it was a rotten system. But I don't know how we get from that to reparations. I mean, what we see in the United States in terms of the bad things, you see all around the world. If you were to give reparations to everyone whose ancestors had been slaves, I
Like mine,
suspect that you would have to
by
give
the blacks.
reparations to more than half the entire population of the globe. Slavery was not confined to one set of races. I suspect that most of the people who were either slaves or slave owners around the world were neither white nor black. I mean, this was a universal curse of the human species.
Africa, the Middle East, Asia,
Oh,
slavery took place everywhere.
and it continued elsewhere long after it was abolished in the Western countries.
You know what I mean? I've even heard people say like, oh, but there were some of the Irish who were indentured. Like, yeah, slavery. Look at the numbers, look at the time, look at the level of work. You could not work toward your freedom for most black people in America.
Let's talk about him. Talking about, you know, I wonder why. So Thomas was talking about it was a universal thing. Slavery was universal, and we all know that. And coming up here to try to, make like only one part are the slave owners and only one part are guilty to this. That's a propaganda. That's a lie that needs to be debunked.
If you were to give reparations to everyone whose ancestors had been slaves, I suspect that you would have to give reparations to more than half the entire population of the globe. Slavery was not confined to one set of races. I suspect that most of the people who were either slaves or slave owners around the world were neither white nor black.
They were not.
This was a universal curse of the human species.
It was a
Africa, the Middle
universal
East,
curse.
Asia, slavery took place
A
everywhere.
universal
and it
curse in the
continued
entire
elsewhere.
species. That's true.
Though in different ways. And so there's a lot of evidence that there are black kids who have all the qualifications to be successful in college, who nevertheless are failures.
I will skip through certain parts because I just want to have the main parts and just move on from there.
Grow more wealth, you can use it to grow your family's wealth. Just taking that away from black people alone.
Right.
I feel Noah is very much
Of course, might also
hypocrite.
be more likely to
Yeah.
politics.
He's very hypocrite talking about black slavery and black enslavement. If we talk about slavery, we have to start from the roots. It was the blacks we saw who tied the black people up, and blacks still own in Libya, and it's still evidence that blacks still sell slaves. It is not something that is finished. It's just very much going through a secret ways, So South Africa is not the black people's country. So is Egypt not Arabs' country. So the Arabs are the ones who actually how the blacks even get into the enslave in the sailing of slavery. It was the Arabs who was having the big trade market, and then the blacks were also the slaves of the Arabs. How the Arabs has killed them out. The first slave, black cells. That is the first, but the Arabs are the ones who come and slave them before the white men. White men was a customer. And it doesn't today. It does not matter what the white men have gave that time. It was weapons and stuff that they were having. The trades were. It does not matter today what the customer have gave. Then it only matter what it doesn't matter what the customers gave. It's only matter what the customers got. Nobody's talking about the ones which were sitting with the slaves. Nobody's talking about the businessmen, the Arabs who are sitting with the slaves, and the blacks who tied them up. Nobody is going there. Nobody wants to go to that. We have to keep it on the servers and keep it going. That is the mentality they're trying to push. That it's all about what we can share now. And just whites were having slaves. But how did it happen? Nobody wants to dig deeper. Nobody wants to go into it, because it's really ugly. If you, as much as you go deeper, it's really ugly picture. It's not a picture which is bring out the goods of the black people. It damaging the blacks, and it damaged the the Arabs. And nobody wants to talk about how the Arabs stole Egypt, Morocco, and all those countries. Was it not for the white people coming to Africa, Arabs could have also wiped out the black people. So nobody is holy. The black people's core, your core is not holy. Arab core is not holy. Neither is the white people's core. So even the Jews, us in southern part of Africa were also killed by the Germans. So it's everybody. And blacks, before we even talk, for me, it's like, why should I go and look for reparation from the Germans if the blacks have killed us and is still killing us? Is still killing us, the natives. Why should I go and talk to the white men? But then the blacks have also killed us. Blacks have also do all and still are doing. Was it not for the white men coming to the tip of southern part of Africa, you could have never hear about us, because the blacks we are the oldest inhabit entire Africa. That you see the Ethiopians, they are natives, they are the sun, they are the offspring of the people that you hear, San people, Kru people, even the blacks. Because entire Africa, I repeated this thing, that we are the natives of entire Africa. Unfortunately, we have been wiped out by the black people, and you will not, because we still have the paintings. There is evidence. Our people are still speaking the language. In Tanzania, Google the people Hesta people in Tanzania. They are still speaking the cliques. They are still and in Congo. Pinkies or what in Congo? So everywhere, even everywhere. So if was it not for the white people coming to the southern tip, you could have never heard about us. So is the story, and people to come and put a certain narrative, and just like white people were slave, they were enslaved too. That's how they learned into America. So actually, the European side, I cannot even say that the so-called African Americans are the natives of America, because when you look at it, they also come from Asia. They came through Alaska. So the evidence is there that these people are Asian people. So in that, I think that the Europeans was already there. For me, that's what I think. Europeans was already there. It's only their story was not documented, and maybe with misunderstanding, because this one did not know who entered this way, and this one did not know, and the naive person just say they are the natives. And like us, our people could have think that the Zulus are natives of South Africa, but they are not natives of South Africa. because our amount, everything. But today we have been debunked with all kind of lies by black people. Even Namibia, even Botswana, even all those Angola, all those countries, even you can even talk about Tanzania, Kenya. You can look at them and they are just, but even the Ethiopians, but nobody, the killing was so happening, and what is it called, divide and conquer and all that. So the blacks have really conquered, and the country, the lands is just known as black people. So the black people have actually lived the oldest inhabitants of entire Africa without a land. So people like Trevor Noah coming here and debunking things that they don't know about, it's so ignorant and hiding there. It's just, that's what the black people do. They are hiding so deep the black people narrative, how the black people they are the dirty deeds, the skeletons of black people have been hidden away. I don't know why. I don't know why. Why do you wanna look yourself? Why do you wanna make yourself look good? If it's happened, it have happened and it happened. It just needs to be, So if you, and besides that, even if they hide, it's okay. But you come out here and you wanna blame the same things that you have been the same devil, like the white men you are blaming on the white men, because you did the same as the white have done. So what's the difference? What's the difference, and why do you put the lights on them, showing the finger to them, but the three is pointing back to you as well? So your core is not holy. With that, guys, I'm gonna stop here. I will make many videos about this. This is actually a topic near to my heart, because we are going through this. We are slaves. We have been genocide, exterminated, raped by black people. Nobody wants to talk about it. If we talk, it's like it's a hate speech. It's been regarded as a hate speech. Truth cannot be told. No place of truth, especially now that people like Trevor Noah, people are being hired by the liberal agenda in America, and they are being used as the propaganda machine for their own globalist agenda. So that's where we are, but we still gonna tell the truth, and the truth will set us free, as the Bible said. So guys, we'll still stay on this topic. I will maybe come back with a second part of it, I don't know, but I will see. But for now, until next time, goodbye. Thank you so much. Share, subscribe, and share, please, and subscribe, and that comment as you want to. Let's learn from each other. Until next time, bye.